Hey?
Radio check, testing 1, 2, 3, testing.
Yep, sounded good, mate.
Yep, is that coming through okay?
Yep. Oh, fuck, let me turn that off.
Yep. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. That's right, where is the time going? It's time for round 3 of SRL Project Cars 2 season number 4. As we are here tonight at the famous Nurburgring in Germany, a track that was labelled at one point in history as the Green Hell. And it's going to be interesting to see who can come out on top tonight as the drivers tonight tackling the GP version of this track for the first time. We have raced here in the past, of course, using the sprint version, where it was indeed Kart Dude who took wins in both the super sprint round. And this time it's one race though, however, and it should be action-packed as these little Renault Megans provide lots of passing opportunities here. And of course, last week it was Kart Dude who took the win, meaning his old rival F1 Rocks are tied 4 points at the top of the championship. So the question is, who can come out on top this week? And here to talk to me about it, and indeed to you at home as we see Ridey coming out onto the track for the first time in this qualifying session, is Rob Maverick Spicy Boy. And welcome to you, Rob Dog. It's great to have you back again for another week, round 3. Don't we love Thursday nights?
Yeah, Thursday nights are always pretty exciting, aren't they, Trev? And especially these cars around here, they're not really designed for the circuit, Trev. Little touring cars on a big Grand Prix circuit. It's going to be a lot of slip sliding around, like we saw with the V8s here on the shortened circuit just 2 seasons back, I do believe. So it's going to be a really fun race for us, not for them. So that's what we want to see. But yes, Rob Dog, Spicy Boy, Maverick, right?
Yes, last time I checked, in fact, hopefully you're following all the terms and conditions on Facebook there, mate, but no, just kidding. I think they give you a pretty harsh deal as well tonight. We've got a 15-minute qualifying session. Rob, you're making me laugh awfully early tonight as we see Ridey there just warming up his tyres. The Grand Prix version of this track, of course, 15-minute qualifying session, yes, I mentioned that, followed by a 20-lap race, clear to medium cloud cover. That's about as best as you're going to get in terms of a weather forecast as we look at Kart Dude there on your screen with that beautiful Logitech livery. 15 corners here on the Grand Prix version of this track tonight. Famous corners, Rob, such as the Michael Schumacher S, the Warnsteiner curves, the Mercedes Arena, and the very German Turn 1 called the Yokohama S. Plenty of challenging corners for the drivers here this evening.
Yeah, there's plenty of challenging corners around here. Very challenging, very technical circuit. It's actually really hard to get any lap time out of here as Trev drops his remote control and his dogs decide to kill each other in the background. But Kart Dude's looking pretty good on this outlap, to be honest. It doesn't seem like he's moving around too much with that car. It seems pretty stable. He's getting a little bit of opposite lock mid corner, but it's looking pretty good early on in the just a warm-up lap here. But we'll go on board with Ridey. First man out, first man to start setting a lap. So we're just going to go on board with him here into the S there, coming around long left-hander. Really difficult to find your braking point and acceleration point through that corner. Pinpointing it right, really hard here as well, because there's not much of a reference on the circuit to get the car braked early, to get it pointed in early enough, and then use it to get on the power as soon as you can when you go right into the next bit of the circuit. This bit here, beautiful little corner, long, fast, left-hand sweeper coming in, and you're getting onto the brakes really early. Almost as soon, like the car's pretty much coming out of that corner, but the wheels are still turned, so you're braking while turning at the same time. Not ideal for any people out there who like to do this sort of thing like we do, Trev, and go around very tidy so far. A little bit wiggly, to be honest, on the ripple strip there, coming up to the Michael Schumacher S, the S curve here. Very tidy, very stuck, very planted, this car at the moment. And let's not forget, Ridey was looking very sweet for the last 2 rounds. Didn't pick up a win, unfortunately, but I think it's something to do with these pit stops, but hopefully he's sorted that out for tonight. Really difficult corner here. It's sort of off camera. It doesn't look like it, but the car does tend to scrub across the track, especially at the front there, coming into the Yokohama. No, that's the Advan kink, whatever that's called, coming into the chicane here. Really tight. Really difficult to get the car in, pointed really beautifully actually, right on the curves. You need to use those curves there to actually get the car unsettled enough, but to use it to turn the car into the corner. So he's done a really good job there. A little bit too early on the entry here on the last corner, but the exit is looking very good, and this might put Righty, give him a really good opening lap to start the account troop.
Yes, Righty now coming across the line, setting an initial provisional pole position time of a 1:58.868. But I reckon Cart Dude might have something to say about that as he gets ready to start a pole position lap. Nemo there with a 2 minutes 04.481, and now V8 Man as well setting a time. So the times are starting to come in here in this qualifying session as we tick down to 10 minutes remaining in this session. I do apologise about my dogs. Once again, the controller falling off the desk, and the dogs ever ready. The security guards doing their job. And special mention too, Rob, for Matt Beecham, who I think that was his name anyway, who subscribed to our channel. So fantastic stuff, and don't forget to get your comments in for this live stream tonight. And just taking a look at the qualifying notes as V-Fingers there, getting the back end of his Renault Megane out. And we might just, well, we might leave those qualifying notes, Rob, but we might take a look at the championship points here tonight. And in fact, it is the drivers' points you can see on your screen there. It is Formula One Rocks and Kart2 neck and neck on 40 points apiece here tonight. Nothing between them heading into round 3 of this championship. And then it's V-Fingers on 31 points and Wimpinator as well on 28. As we take a look now at the constructors' points, and it is Warney bowling around the wicket. It's V-Fingers and Wimpinator on 59 points, 7 points ahead of Carp Dude and Truss. For Sodi Motorsport, then it's Formula One Rocks and V8 Man for Shake and Bake Racing in 3rd, and Fubbles and Mighty Murph in 4th. And then Casting Couch Racing, Frankston Hooligans, not happy with that, down there in 6th on just 8 points. It hasn't been a good start to the season for them. And then it's Ozdog Racing and Seat Cover Racing with HSV and Nemo yet to score. But it's very tight at the top of the Drivers' Championship, and it is all to play for here in round 3 tonight, Rob.
Yeah, it's all to play for, and while we're just having a look at those results, Righty has gone 2nd behind Cartu, Trust 3rd, and Formula Rocks in his usual position up there with the boys, but in 4th position, just jumping into the pit lane there, sort of spawning in there, I guess. V-Fingers been really impressive with these cars lately, just being able to get really good pace out of them. A lot of people have been struggling. Just a couple of, I guess, names to mention would be V8 Man. Formula Rocks has struggled with these cars as well in the past, and also old mate Wilco. He had a really good opening round, but he's just can't find the pace with him. Apart from he had the pace last week there or thereabouts, but he just got punted off the circuit, and let's just say there's been some words said about that, hasn't there, Troop? Certainly has. He will not be happy about that. Our man Wilco is an absolute perfectionist, that's for sure. As we're just getting, we do apologise about that. There was a slight bit of lag there on my screen, but anyway, not to worry about that. We're back online. But Jason has been talking throughout the course of this week, Rob, and he's not too happy with his pace. He believes he's about 1 to 2 seconds off, so it will be very interesting to see whether he can get a good result tonight. But it is about qualifying. You need to qualify high up the order to have a best chance of winning here, but it's also about racecraft as well. And you can't forget about that as we look now at Kart2 there, 4 tenths ahead of Righty in 2nd. And V-Fingers now currently on your screen down in 12th, but no doubt that was just a warm-up lap for him. And he'll be looking to really make an impact on this lap as he comes through the final part now. In fact, it's Aussie Bro now just on his hot lap. As Super Crunch says, come on Wilco. So don't forget to get your comments in here tonight on the live stream, and we will love to hear from you. And we're just
counting down now in qualifying. So, interesting circuit here. Rob, 15 corners like we mentioned, 20 laps tonight. And it's going to be very interesting indeed to see who will come out on top here tonight as Aussie Bro. Currently down in P14, yet to set a super fast lap. But once again, these cars looking very, very twitchy at the back end, Rob, and not all that easy to control.
No, I mean, really lightweight. Plenty of horsepower for these sort of cars, and really crap tyres equals for cars that don't really want to work in the way that we'd expect them. I mean, these are little touring cars at the end of the day, and that's the way we sort of want to see them to drive. It's a very much of a driver's car. If you can get it done, you'll be able to win races. If you can't, you just can't get around driving it, even with a decent setup. It's going to be a really painful season for you, and there's a few guys in the field that are probably already feeling that. But I just want to make mention again, Mighty Murph, not the greatest qualifier, but gee, he's been so impressive the last couple of weeks. He's just gotten that car in the races just way up the field, and it was really impressive to see him do that. And also, I mean, he's just kept his nose clean a lot of the time, Trev, and it's just really paid out for him. Really smart pit stop strategies and everything. I'm slurring my words. I've only had like a little bit of whiskey, but just looking through the field again, and Car Dude's actually gone a little bit quicker, about 5/10 quicker from his previous pole lap. Now he's on a 57.811. He's really putting in the time, and actually, old mate Waffles and Bits, looking really impressive. He's struggled with this car as well, but he's up in a second, so that's great news for him. And actually, he and Roddy have done an identical times trip. Unbelievable.
This is incredible. Waffles and Roddy, like you mentioned, Rob, both doing 1 minute 58.2s. Exactly, well, they're both 4/10 off Car Dude there, who still sits in provisional pole position, but nothing between those two. And I'm guessing the rules, a bit like in Formula 1, whoever does the fastest time first takes that position. But it is very interesting you mentioned Mighty Murph. They're not the greatest qualifier in the world, but a bit like Greg Murphy in V8 Supercars, he's got great racecraft and great race strategy. And it's interesting you mentioned about qualifying there as well, because both race winners so far in this season in the opening 2 rounds, Rob, haven't got pole position. Truss in round 1, of course, and Wimpinator in round 2. So pole position not the end of the world if you don't get it in this championship.
Yeah, it seems like one of those cars where you don't want to be setting up just for a pole lap. There's some guys in the league that can really do that. Car Dude's one of them. Full on Rocks, Truss, they can really bloody pull a car together for a qualifying lap. But this car, I don't think it's the way to go. You need a car that's ready to race, and that's pretty much been the story for the last 2 rounds that we've had. You can be the quickest, but doesn't mean you're going to win. You can make mistakes so much more easier with the pointy cars. You just see Roddy there getting on the opposite lock, going around the last corner there. Very impressive. Quick reactions from him. Full on Rocks, though, goes quicker than Car Dude by just unbelievable, Trev. Absolutely unbelievable. 5/10. Oh, Truss goes quicker than Formula Rocks. It's all happening at the top of the field now, Trev.
It certainly is. The times are tumbling. The minutes counting down in this qualifying session. And this is amazing. A 1:57.6. We were expecting the pole time to be a low to mid 1:57. And indeed, the fastest lap in practice was a 1 minute 57.8 from Wimpinator. But these boys like to keep their cards close to their chest, and a 1:57.6 for Truss. So he, speaking of qualifiers, he is one of the qualifying maestros here in this championship, and he is ahead of Formula 1 Rocks on your screen now. But what can he come back with? What will his response be with 2 minutes to go in this session? Can he go quicker once again before this session is out? And he does. Pole position. Formula 1 Rocks a 1 minute 57.384 as Truss is back in the pits, and now we're right on board with Car Dude. This is frenetic pace here in the final minute and a half of this session, Rob.
Yes, Foxtrot uniform, Charlie Kilo, absolutely frenetic pace we're getting out of here tonight, boys. And gee, I just love that livery he's got on his car there, old Car Dude. He actually had to go to the doctors before the start of this race, complaining of some little bit of joint pain. So Car Dude might be a little bit older than we all thought. He's probably a 50-year-old man. maybe catfishing us all as a 20-year-old man. But it's a little bit disturbing to think about. V-Fingers actually goes second. He's looking pretty good for this race. He's got one more lap to do actually. If he's crossed the line, he's kept on the throttle, he'll have another lap, and so will Cardu. But Cardu will want to be getting the lap together right now, because you don't want that pressure on you on the last dying seconds of a qualifying session. And one little slip up, and on a normal lap can actually turn into a bigger slip up with all the pressure on you. And Cardu has not actually gone quicker at all, so he's going to have to do another lap. That's really bad news for a Cardu. Ryder's gone into the pit, so he's given up. He's starting 5th. Probably looking for more of a race setup than a qualifying setup, which is probably a very smart thing to do. John Dog, though, he's still on the flying lap, coming down to that beautiful left-hand sweep I was talking about earlier, getting on the brakes. Really nice entry, actually. That car's actually, it's almost sliding all over the place, but not in a very, let's say, Mad Mike Whittaker way, Trev. It's looking very, very planted, but also it's got a really good amount of rotation at the back end. Some
interesting times here on the board. V-Fingers as well there, slotting into second place as qualifying now. The time has counted down as we ride on board Bonnet Cam with John Dog 2010, who is currently... where's he in the order there? He's currently in P7, 1.1 seconds off of pole position. And expect these cars to get quicker and quicker here. And also we get very high ambient temperatures, meaning the drivers will have to open up the radiator to avoid the engine overheating. And so just keep an eye out for that clear weather as well. We were looking at Cloud and John Dog there. He's just made a mistake in the final couple of corners, Rob, and that's going to put him out of sync, so he's not going to improve on P7 as we took a quick look at Jason Wilkinson, who's currently in P8, but now Aussie Bro, what can he do from P number 9? And coming around the final couple of corners of this lap, the qualifying session now complete here at the Nurburgring for round 3 of this championship. And so far, it's looking like Formula 1 rocks. The joint championship leader has taken pole position here tonight with a 1:57.384. So scintillating pace for Formula 1 rocks as Aussie Bro then, like we said, currently in P9, coming through the last couple of corners on this track. And what can he do then as he goes through the NGK chicane? I think that's how you say that in German. But now around turn 15, onto the start-finish straight. So can he improve on P9 as he comes across the line? Yes, he can. Up to 7th place there, Rob.
Yeah, that's a really good job from Aussie Brother. And actually, he's been really impressive in these cars as well. Had a really bad race last week, but that first race when we introduced the new cars at the Nurburgring, or as everybody else calls it, the Red Bull Ring. Not many people are as old as us when it comes to this league, Trev. It's weird to say I'm a bit of an old man when it comes to this, but the Nurburgring, he looked really impressive until he had that accident. And then I think he had a disconnect as well, but yeah, really impressive times on the board there. But Formula Rocks getting the pole position for the upcoming race, Trev. There we go, and the results are there on your screen. Formula 1 Rocks, like we said, the joint championship leader taking pole position here tonight, ahead of V-Fingers in P2, Truss in P3, ahead of Waffles and Bits in P4. Then Can't Dude, he won't be happy with that, down there in P5. Righty in P6, Aussie Bro in P7. We saw him improve at the end of that session from P9. Then John Dog 2010, Jason Wilkinson, the man who won't be happy with that, down there in P9. Mighty Murph was in P10, as now we head to the starting grid to get ready for round 3 of this championship. What will happen? So many questions to be answered here tonight. It's tight at the top of the Drivers' Championship. It's tight at the top of the Constructors' Championship as well. And we're going to be expecting plenty of carnage into Turn 1. But then again, Rob, we say that every week. Yeah, I mean, I guess we really expect it with these cars. These cars really produce a lot of drama, I guess, in the last 2 rounds that we've had them. And we've only had them for 2 rounds. This is the start of the 3rd one, and I mean, we've had lots and lots of drama, lots of carnage, and I mean, it's great for people at home to watch, and it's great for us to commentate over because we could just laugh. But gee, the boys on the controllers, on their D-pads or on their wheels, they get pretty fired up, especially in the comments. So just a lot of adversity, I guess, when it comes to this car. It's hard to drive, it's hard to give space with them, and it's really hard to admit when you're wrong sometimes with an accident. But you know, that happens sometimes when you're doing this in a really highly competitive arena that is SRL. And just a quick mention that Fubbles got a grip penalty from last round, so he didn't actually qualify for tonight's race. So he's starting at the back at P15, but he's been pretty good. Very impressive, old man Fubbles.
Certainly has. That qualifying ban, of course, from the incident last week with Jason, who wasn't at all happy with that. But, geez, how about some comments, people? Everyone out there watching on the live stream tonight, just get your comments in. Hayne1994 saying, come on, Truss. Great to have your company again, Hayne, for another week. Great to have you with us as we get ready to go racing here. That's right. Who will conquer the green hell here tonight? 20 laps of the Nurburgring. It's lights out, away we go as we're focused in on Formula One Rocks, who gets a good start off the line. He looks to move across to cover off Truss and V-Fingers as well. V8 man further down the field, what can he do from there? As Stephen says, go Aussie, go. As we might head back to the front. There's contact there already, but we might just get back to the front as well. Wimpinator involved in there as well. Mighty Murph getting through cleanly. But Truss there maintaining, well, he's up to second position now. Mighty Murph there. Also getting a pretty good start as well, but still in 10th position. And Formula One Rocks side by side there with Truss, but he still manages to maintain the lead off the line into the first corner. But oh my goodness, Truss has got him for company, Rob.
Yeah, Truss is really harrying Formula One Rocks there. You can see Formula One Rocks really having to turn that steering wheel to the other side. Sorry for the loud gust of air from my lungs there, but you can see actually Formula One Rocks is actually... seems like he's struggling with that car. Cartoon's all over the back of Truss there. Two Taswegian boys, two teammates actually, both in the Logitech cars. They're looking very, very racy, and I think that Formula Rocks is going to have to really pull out some very special manoeuvres like we've seen him do in the past, but really needs to do it now because these two boys are looking very, very hungry and actually just looking through the pack. Aussie Bro up into 6th. Very good. He's gained a position off the start line there. V-Fingers. Looking pretty racy as well. He's got waffles all over the back of him as a lot of company. But old man Jason, he's in 8th, so he hasn't moved that far up the grid. But you know what? He's just trying to get some confidence. Didn't do much practice with this car for the upcoming round. He said he wasn't very confident with it, but we've seen him do some pretty impressive driving and some miracles. But we'll see how he goes tonight. But going back to the front now, it looks like Truss has just dropped back a little bit from Formula One Rocks. Not that much, to be honest. Not much to really worry about. As we see somebody in the background there coming into the pit lane, doing their mandatory pit stop. It's actually Waffles and Roddy coming in for the mandatory pit stop, so they won't have to come in again at all. You can see there, just Truss and Cardu trying to get the slipstream off of Formula Rocks. Formula Rocks moving all over the circuit, trying to break that slipstream. You can see Truss wrong. He's really comfortable on the brakes with this car, Truss.
He certainly is. And how close is this? Look at that. 1, 2, 3 all together. V-Fingers about a couple of seconds further back now, but it's all about this battle. 1, 2 and 3 as Righty, Waffles, Wimpinator and Fubbles all in the pits to do their mandatory pit stop here tonight. Tyre wear should not be an issue. Big hello, Stephen Porowski. Go, Aussie, go. Let's hear it. But how good is this? Great to have your company, Haynes, Stephen, Nemo and Super Crunch as well. Keep your comments coming in on the live stream tonight because that is what we live for. We love each and every one of you. We say it all around, all year round. But lap 2 out of 20 here tonight. And it's Formula One Rocks leading by just a kitten's whisker over Truss in P2, keeping Jono very honest. And talking about keeping people honest, Rob, Cart Dude right up Truss's ginger. There's nothing between those two at the moment. First, second and third all together there on your screen. And this is what SRL is all about. It's about close racing. We mentioned it, the tension, the drama. It happens each and every week, and that's why we love having your company for everybody watching at home. Get amongst it there, but don't forget about V-Fingers down there in P4. We mentioned Jason, who's moved up a couple of spots now, Rob, as well in P6 from starting in P9.
Yeah, Jason's done a really good job now up to P6. Really good job from Jason. But I'm just quick observation, Trev. It looks like Cartoon's actually quicker than his teammate Trust there. So I don't know what they're going to be thinking about in their own little private chat that they have going on. Actually, although Trust gets a really good entry and exit that last corner there, and you can actually see he's right up the back of Formula 1 Rocks again, and he's going for a move. He's having a look down the inside, late on the brakes. He's up beside him into that little dippy section there. Trust side by side with Formula 1 Rocks. Formula 1 Rocks taking the inside line. Trust getting the preferred over and under manoeuvre up the inside of Formula 1 Rocks on the inside, locking up a left front wheel there. But he's through, and I think, oh wow, that's a wow. Did we just see Formula 1 Rocks maybe cutting a little bit of the circuit there, Trev?
Well, there's corners. It's interesting. All Kart Dude as well. Don't forget about him. He's got he's right in there amongst it, isn't he? But geez, Formula 1 Rocks. That move looked a little bit Max Verstappen-ish, I must say. But anyway, he's got the lead still as we ride on board now with Bonnet Cam here with Truss. And I've got to say, he just moved across the fairway, but they're, boy almighty, they're line astern, aren't they? There is nothing between them. Bumper to bumper here. Lap 3 out of 20 here at the Nurburgring. Round 3 of SRL Project Cars 2 season number 4. As Super Crunch says, old man Wilco has moved up. Come on, matey. So plenty of love for Wilco, your man in P6 at the moment. Not too far behind Aussie as well. But this battle for... I tell you what, I don't know whether Truss, Formula 1 Rocks might be off the Christmas card list after that little move there, Rob.
Yeah, he might be off the list there, but it's actually brought somebody else into the game here, and that's V-Fingers. That gap was out to 2 seconds now, and it's closed back up to 1.8, so 1.7 now. So he's actually closing in a lot more, and I do feel like that at the hairpin. Trust did get into the back of Kart Dude just a little bit, and it's actually it unsettled his car, and he just couldn't get the car gripping up enough so he could get a good exit. You can just see the exit that Trust gets out of that last corner. It's actually really unbelievable how quick that car's out of the last corner. I don't know how he's driving it, but it's really just brilliant to watch. Trust thinking about the move on his own teammate. Kart Dude locking up a wheel, go really, really deep, and really keeping the backside of Formula Rocks there. A lot of company. The Formula Rocks doing the old trolley train in a lot of ways. People who used to watch Formula 1 back in the day, truly used to qualify pole and then just hold everybody up. And it looks like that's what Formula 1 Rocks is doing. As long as he's keeping his head about it and he can keep this up to the end of the race, or maybe he's got something a little bit special in his little bag of magic tricks. We'll end up seeing what happens. But yeah, Truss is really harrying his own teammate at the moment, True.
He certainly is, as Super Crunch has just subscribed to the Kidbyers channel. Thank you for that. We've had a couple of subscribers here tonight, but look at this battle. First, second, and third all together on your screen, and just 0.6 of a second between them. Don't forget about V-Fingers as well. You mentioned him, Rob. He's only one and a bit seconds further behind, but it's all about this battle for first, second, and third. Lap 4 out of 20 here tonight. And it is Formula 1 Rocks there. Talk about the trolley train, all right. Just 2 seconds, 0.2 of a second, I should say, ahead of Kart Dude in P2. Then it's Truss in P3. But boy, oh boy almighty. As Neil Haynes 05 says, I like the look of Carter's Dude for victory tonight. And boy, the Taswegian man. I'm not a betting man, but I'd like to have a fiver on Kart Dude because he does look very good at this opening stages of this race. But Formula 1 Rocks there as Truss is into the pits, Rob.
Yeah, that's a really interesting move. Maybe he's doing that just because he's feeling he was getting a little bit held up. I don't know, but gee, Kart Dude's still over the back of Formula 1 Rocks, so traditional to get the pit stop out as early as you can if you feel like you're being held up. And the Kart Dude having a little look on the outside off the circuit, trying to maybe think to get that drive out of the corner. I don't think it's really going to matter here at this point in the circuit. But yeah, it looks like Formula 1 Rocks is actually struggling for a little bit of grip and a little bit of pace trip.
This is absolutely amazing. You could not script it any better. Formula 1 Rocks and Kart Dude neck and neck at the front there. We saw Truss going into the pit lane. Maybe trying to get the undercut here. Tyre wear not so much of an issue here at the Nurburgring tonight. As Neil Haynes, big hello to you as well. Super Crunch, Stephen Hayne, all joining us here tonight. 8 people watching the live stream. But how good is this? That's right, the 2 championship leaders, 40 points apiece. And these 2 boys are first and second. And I'm a little bit surprised V-Fingers there not leaving these 2 at the front. He's only a couple of seconds further back. You can see him there in the back of your picture. But just sit back and get ready for the last 15 scintillating laps here at the Nurburgring. Because, boy, you have got an absolute ding-dong battle ahead of you. But, I say V-Fingers there, Rob, and he seems to have a bit of a penalty there. I'm not sure what that's all about. But talking about the first round of pit stops, it'll be interesting to see whether Truss has made the right move there. He's back in P10 now, 10 seconds behind Nemo in P9. And we might have to get that speedo up as well there, Rob, as you've got the results there on your screen. Thank you, my good man. Timing impeccable as always. But Mighty Murph, where is he on the timing sheets? Well, he's not the best qualifier, but he is not too bad in the race. And I can't quite see him. No, currently in P7. I beg your pardon there. As, a little bit of an incident there. John Dog 2010, and now they're side by side with Mighty Murph. And they're all streaming into the pits at the moment now, Rob. So I reckon Truss might have started something. A few making early pit stops here tonight. And Mighty Murph continues on his merry way up to P5. And Fubbles, what's he doing? The man with the pad and the plan here tonight. Fubbles there in P14. Currently pursuing V8 Man, who also made an early stop. So these boys looking to do a bit of a different strategy, I reckon, Rob. They pitted early on in the piece, so they're fighting a different race, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, they're fighting a different race, and I'm a little bit distracted by the windscreen wiper on the front of Fubbles' car there, actually waving side by side. But Fubbles, you know what, he's putting in a reasonable performance. I don't really know where they're going to slot back in when it comes to traffic. Maybe just ahead of HSV and Aussie Bro, I'm not too sure, but Fubbles on the inside here of V8, they're just not getting it all done, or has he? Oh, Fubbles just on the inside, and what was that? That was Righty. What happened to Righty? He was actually, he qualified pretty well on Righty, and he's dropped back fair way back, and I think he just had a bit of a half. Well, no, it was HSV. There you go. HSV had a bit of a half spin. So, what's happened to Righty is the big question of the moment, because he was so quick in the qualifying session, Trev.
He certainly was. He's currently down in 15th position, as indeed we saw HSV there spinning as he came out of the pit lane. But Righty, a little bit of a mystery. We'll have to investigate that. I don't think we can afford a pit lane reporter, but here in the commentary box, it's just myself and Rob Dog. But we will investigate that and see what happened to Righty in the latter stages of this race. But I can tell you now that the gap between first and second is 0.4 of a second, in fact, as we take a look at Truss there, who's worked his way back up the order very nicely indeed. He was part of that lead trio, of course, before deciding to make an early pit stop. We will see whether that will work out for him or not in that beautiful Logitech liveried car. As we take a look now at car 2, they're still currently in P2, just bearing down on Formula 1 Rocks. But we've seen this in previous races, Rob. He likes to control the pace, Formula 1 Rocks. He's a very, very cagey driver. He doesn't do a lot of talking, but then again, he lets his talking be done on the track. And Neil Haynes 05 says he came out of the pits just as they were coming through. So I'm assuming he's talking about Righty there. Thank you, Neil, for doing our job for us and keeping us updated on what's happening out on the track. Great to have your company with us on the live stream tonight. But have a look at this. They are so close there. Lap 6 out of 20. The next question is, when will these two come in and make a stop, Rob?
You know, that's a good question. And I was just thinking from the last race, Trev, Car Dude left a little bit in the tank for the whole race until the last couple of laps, and he started really sprinting that car, making really big inroads on Formula Rocks, and then Formula Rocks, I think, made a mistake, putting him down a couple of positions. So, you know, I think maybe Car Dude's going to be going for the same sort of style of race that he went through for at Brno last week. Brno, I don't know what it's pronounced as. It's Czechoslovakia. Don't annex it. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell with these two because they're so competitive, and they'll happily let each other get an advantage as long as they can save something in the tank for themselves as well. So we'll never know until it's the last 5 laps of this race with these two. But having a look through the field, Trev, and there's not many close battles at the moment apart from Aussie Bro and John Dog. John Dog is really trying to hustle that car as much as he can to get into the last points paying position in P10 that Aussie Bro is occupying. Aussie Bro was up to around about, I think, P8 at one stage of this race, very couple of points, and he's dropped back a little bit, so this could be a little interesting exchange that we might be about to see. But gee, these three boys are pretty close to the circuit too, Trev.
They certainly are, and plenty of battles, not just at the front, but we like to give plenty of airtime for everyone watching the stream to our guys lower down the order, of course. And Fubbles there currently in P13, just behind V8 Man and John Dog, the man we talked about just a moment ago. But Fubbles and HSV not having a great race down in P14 at the moment. As we come across the line, look at these cars up into 5th gear, 200 kilometres per hour. Up into 6th gear, then across the start-finish line. HSV currently in P14, and he can visually see a points finish up ahead of him as V8 Man there outbraking himself and locking up into turn 1, and we're in prime position to see it there from the bonnet cam of HSV. But V8 Man, he's got it all to do, doesn't he, Rob? Because Fubbles is all over the back of him, look, at the moment.
Yeah, Fubbles is really hustling that car, and it's actually something he's very, very good at. Fubbles can really actually extract a lot of the car out when he really, really needs it. Although he'll scream down the microphone when he's doing it, but he'll be able to do it surely enough. I just noticed something actually, Trev. At the top of the field, Cartoon's actually dropped back around about 3 seconds away from Formula 1 Rocks.
Well, is this a plan? Is he saving his tyres? Does he need to... Has he made a mistake, or indeed is he just dropping back a tiny, tiny bit there and trying to conserve tyre wear? But like we said, it shouldn't be an issue here tonight. Lap 9 out of 20 now, as Waffles and Bits, one of two guys to have a penalty here tonight. 30 seconds off the lead, but so close to Nemo in P6 there. Nemo having a good race as well, up into P6, and he hasn't flipped the thing, and all 4 wheels and tyres are pointing in the right direction. But now Waffles is on the inside, coming out of the final corner, turn 15. They are side by side. Will Waffles duck in behind Nemo to get a bit of slipstream? Indeed he does. Across the start finish straight now, he comes out and he's going to make a move down the inside. Nemo defends, but I reckon Waffles has got the position. And will there be a crisscross here? Will Nemo come back and fight him? No, Waffles gets the move done. A beautiful bit of racing heading into turn 1 there, Rob.
Yeah, no, Nemo did the right thing there. He knew he was going to lose the place. He didn't really gift the position to Waffles and Bits, but at the end of the day, he knew that Waffles and Bits had the speed. And there's no point arguing over a really good position for Nemo. I don't know what Nemo's highest finishing position is within the league, but gee, I think he'd be pretty happy with 7th at the moment, Trev.
He certainly would be, and I don't know either, Rob, but we'll have to get back to you on that one. But Nemo there currently in P7, he'll still be pretty happy with that. But it's Formula 1 Rocks there, 4.3 seconds now ahead of Cart Dude in P2. So does Cart Dude have a problem? What will V-Fingers do as well? Not too far behind him. But now Nemo there. He didn't exactly give up that P6 position to Waffles there, but he didn't. He did the right thing. He left the space. All the time you need to leave the space, and he did that. But now Truss in P8 and Wimpinator right behind him. So Truss then got up to P7, didn't he, after that early pit stop? But now he looks to be struggling a bit in terms of pace, Rob, and he's got Wimpinator all over the back of him, who's no slouch in these cars at this circuit. But Cart Dude into the pits, as well, Cart Dude and Jason as well into the pits, so plenty of action now as Cart Dude. You can see Mighty Murph on your screen. He continues on his merry way up to P3, 13 seconds off the lead here tonight. But he's not pitting at the moment. But where is Cart Dude going to feed out? after his stop, and also to Jason as well. Currently P6 and 7, but can they get out ahead of that battle further down the field between Truss and Wimpinator? Yes, Cart Dude getting out ahead of that battle there, Rob. Very important for the rest of this race.
He just got ahead though, and he might be able to get involved in the battle, which is not what Cart Dude would be wanting at this point, but Truss is still battling for position. You can see Truss really hustling that car front left, locking up on the inside again, and he doesn't want to keep doing that because he will be wrestling his wheel to death, especially with the Logitech wheels as well. They don't really like flat spots on this video game, but that being said though, Cart Dude comes out in a pretty good position, to be honest. There's not much traffic in front of him apart from Nemo, but I don't think that Nemo will be on the circuit for too much longer to really phase Cart Dude at the moment. I think Cart Dude will probably have enough to deal with in the next couple of laps himself, especially with his teammate behind him as well. But V-Fingers only 5 seconds away from the lead there, so anything can happen, especially right there. And actually, as I say, that V-Fingers coming into the pit lane to do his mandatory stop. So that will be interesting to see where he feeds out. He should be just behind Jason Wilkinson, while using my incredibly great logic and mathematical mind that I do have, Trev.
You are a bloody genius, Rob, and it is absolutely magnificent that we have got you here tonight. Plenty happening. V-Fingers into the pits. Mighty Murph making a pit stop as well now as we take a look at Waffles and Bits. But we might just go through. We had someone subscribe, so thank you for that. Someone, Mackie, subscribe to the Kidbyers YouTube channel. It's great to have you watching us here tonight, as we also have the Tier 2 race results, Rob. Very interesting to be across Tier 1 and Tier 2, of course, in this championship. And it was Broomy who swept through to take first place ahead of Womp in P2. Third was Compact. Fourth was Cheesy Noodles. And fifth was Familiar GTR. But my goodness gracious me, shut up, Kidbyers, and have a look at this. Look at this battle here in the Tier 1 race. Lap 11 out of 20. Half the race gone, half still to go. And Righty down the inside. Oh boy, the Frankston Hooligans driver getting amongst it at the moment. Where on earth is he in the order? This is so close here tonight. And Righty there. Boy almighty, what a battle we've got for the final points paying position there. Currently it's Aussie Bro in P10 who's getting the single championship point here tonight. But it's HSV in P11, John Dog in P12. V8 Man in P13, and Righty on your screen at the moment in P14. And boy, these boys cannot give an inch at the moment. There is nothing they can do, nothing between them all at the moment. So not just the battle for the lead. Speaking of the lead, Formula 1 Rock's yet to make his pit stop, but now he's in the pits,
He's just coming to the pit stop. Yeah, he's just come in, Trev. So that's really interesting to see where he's going to feed out and where he's going to feed out in terms of time to Cart Dude. Also, we've still got Waffles and V-Fingers to do their stops as well. So that's going to be a fun little time for all of those guys at the top end of the field. But I'm more worried about the battle at the end of the field, because this is looking very spicy indeed, Trev.
It's looking spicier than that chicken tandoori I had at lunch. I'm sure I'll revisit that again tomorrow too. But enough about that. Lap 11 out of 20. And boy, this battle very spicy indeed. Oh my goodness me, look at this, 13 and 14 together on your screen. Chuck in 11 and 14 and 15 Thai green curry chicken noodles, because this is absolutely incredible, Rob, at the moment. V8 Man right down the field. They're a reigning champion of SRL currently in P14. Grace, if you're watching, turn away now. In fact, don't turn away. Look at your screen as V8 Man sizing up Righty there for a move. And Righty from the Frankston Hooligans there holding his inside line there. But V8 Man, will he go down the outside or the inside? V8 Man just electing to hold back there. And he might try and move on him a little bit later in the proceedings there, as Formula 1 Rock's back out onto the circuit now, just ahead of Waffles and V-Fingers. But anyway, keeping a look on this, an eye on this battle, I should say. V8 Man rather, currently in P14. But how intense is this battle? And I reckon Righty's away there in P13, but further down the road is John Dog 2010, HSV as well in P11. But they are so close, aren't they, Rob? Nothing can separate. We talk about the trolley train, but at the moment I reckon it's the HSV train, but nothing between these guys at the moment.
Yeah, not even some WD-40 would be able to separate these boys at the moment, Trev, and that's really sad to say because WD-40 can work on anything, get anything moving. But that being said, Formula Rocks and Waffles. Waffles yet to pit still, but Waffles making inroads onto Formula Rocks. Formula Rocks, though, he's put a 7-second gap between him and Cart Dude, so Cart Dude will be scratching his head and thinking, where have I lost the time for that one? He'd be probably really kicking himself at the moment, to be honest. But Nemo and Aussie Bro is looking really racy at the moment as well. HSV right behind him. Aussie Bro just sitting in that last points paying position in 10th. Nemo though was running as high as 7th earlier on in this race, so he'll be thinking about trying to move and shake up the field. And you can see Aussie Bro on the inside. Nemo cuts him off, very legal, but they'll be having words at the end of this this race here. HSV is thinking about, I'm going to have a look through the side of your car and see if I can get the slipstream off of Nemo there. And Aussie Bro, oh, what a move from 11th to 9th. That's a brilliant move there, Trip.
It certainly is. And boy, he is going absolutely beautifully at the moment. Aussie Bro there, Nemo, the big loser out of that little battle, going from P9 to P11. But Aussie Bro going very nicely indeed. Now HSV also up into the points paying positions. V8 man way down the order now. The man we were watching just a moment ago in P15. But he's going very nicely indeed. Aussie Bro now, like we mentioned, up into P9. Lap 13 out of 20 here at the Nurburgring. Round 3 of this championship here tonight. Great to have you with us. And he's travelling along beautifully now, Aussie Bro. Let's hope the Adelaide Crows are going just as well against the Geelong Cats. Your mob there, Rob Maverick Spicy Man. Let's hope they are going as well as Aussie Bro is here tonight. Matt Broom says, nice Aussie. And just sweeping into the comment section there, Broomy, just fantastic stuff. Nice work from Aussie, he says. And somebody's off there. Who is that in the background? I didn't see. Was that V8 man or Nemo? I think it might have been in the background. There's somebody going off backwards.
Nemo's disappeared
into the gravel trap. So Nemo there, it was looking so good. The commentator's curse once again. Rob, you give him a rap and he lets you down every time. But V8 man now, stop everything, because him and Fubbles together was their contact, and V8 man now has gone off, losing the rear end of that car, and he has gone off the circuit at the end of whatever corner that was. I think it might have been Zevorsteiner Curve or the Anvanbogen. Number 12, I don't speak German, but you speak a little of the Deutschland language, Rob.
Ja, jawohl, mein Kommandant. No, we shouldn't be saying those jokes right now, right here, and I've just looked at the footy scores, and they're looking pretty depressing at the moment if you're an Adelaide fan, but we won't get into that just right now, as I'm still trying to focus on beating Jason in the betting competition that we do have. Waffles, though, looking really quick. The thing is, I can't recall if he's coming for a pit stop or not, Trev, but Waffles is looking very mighty, and his car looks like it's just lit up. It seems like Formula Rocks actually struggles when the track conditions cool down a lot. And it just seems like everybody else's cars just come to light, and you can see that right now. Waffles is really making him look really uncomfortable, and that's rare to see.
Not often you see this man uncomfortable, but he is in P1, a position he knows about very well. And Waffles there, I can't recall whether he has been in for a pit stop. I'm sure one of our eagle-eyed viewers on the live stream tonight will be good enough to tell us. Get your comments in, of course. But lap 14 out of 20, I've got to say, Rob, if he has made that pit stop, he might be a bit of a smoky for the win here tonight. We mentioned about gambling, but don't forget, gamble responsibly. Hopefully those Crows can get up. I put a cheeky $5 on them to win by about 15 points. But anyway, never mind about that. My gambling problems are different from this race, as Waffles round the last corner now, keeping Formula One Rocks under all sorts of pressure. And pretty even on the lap times as well. The only two drivers, Rob, in the 159, so they're on scintillating pace as well.
Yeah, scintillating pace, and they're just making everybody look slower at the moment. Fallen Rocks, of course, he's still got that tenth or so in his back pocket there, just a little bit quicker on that lap compared to Waffles there, but gee, Waffles is really sticking it to him, and it looks like Waffles' car is actually a lot better through the second sector, going through the Schumacher S's up towards the big curves towards the end of the lap, going down to the chicane. So I think, yeah, Waffles' car is looking really, really good in Sector 2, and I think that's probably where he's going to make his big move, and his big debut, I guess, in a lot of ways. But saying that, V-Fingers and Wimpinator are also in the 59s now, Trev.
They certainly are, so the times are tumbling here, but 15 laps gone, 5 still to go until the end of this race. And you can see there on your screen, nothing between Formula One Rocks and Waffles and Bits in P2. They're almost side by side on that occasion, but don't forget, of course, about V-Fingers as well in P3 and Wimpinator there in P4. Cartoon. What happened to Cartoon? That championship battle, they were both on 40 points apiece, Formula One Rocks and Cartoon, heading into round 3 here tonight. But if they stay as they are at the moment, it will be Jono, Formula One Rocks, leading the Drivers' Championship if he can win here tonight. But if is a very big if, of course. If is F1 spelled backwards, as the great Murray Walker used to say, because nothing is certain, as Formula One Rocks keeping him very honest in that car, looking very hooked up around this Nurburgring Grand Prix track here tonight. And I guess the next question is, where can he make a move? Will it be down into turn 1, or will it be through the Mercedes arena? He's also looked pretty good through turns 7, 8 and 9, of course, the Michael Schumacher S. But it's all a matter of patience. He needs to play a waiting game here, Waffles. And he just needs to pick his moment. It's all about timing. Just like life in general, Rob, it's all about timing. Where is he going to get this move done?
Where's he going to get this move done as soon as possible is probably the right way to put that one at the moment there, Trev. But you know, he's in a really good points-paying position, and we're still not knowing. No, that does not make sense. We are not German. We still don't know if he's had his pit stop yet either. So mandatory pit stop for everybody in the field. You don't have to change tyres. You don't have to put fuel in. As long as you stop in your pit box, that counts as your pit stop. And just saying that, Waffles is really on the back end of Formula Rocks there. So this ain't over and done with yet, and I want to say we'll go jump to somebody else, but gee, this battle is pretty close, Trev.
He is right behind him at the moment, almost bumper to bumper here for P1 and P2. Lap 16 out of 20, just 4 laps to go until the end of this race. And yes, we do know I know what you're thinking, Rob. There are other battles further down the field, and I'm sure we'll get lots of bitching and moaning and whining about, why didn't I get more stream time? Why didn't I get more stream time, I hear them say. But it's because this battle for P1 is intense at the moment, as the soul of gaming, who says hello, great to have your company with us tonight. We'll try and get your comments on screen. Great to have your company with us, as everybody joining us tonight is watching this battle, and Waffles there just poking his nose out to have a cheeky little look there through turns 13 and 14, coming through the last corner here now. He looks to have the pace, and he goes out wide, and he'll get a bit of a tighter exit there onto the start-finish straight. Will he have the slipstream here as they cross into lap 17 now? So the laps counting down for Waffles to get this move done. But this is very, very intense, not just for these boys, but everyone watching at home. And for us in the commentary box, the pressure's on Jono there, Formula One Rocks, locking the inside wheel, heading through to turn 1, now through the Mercedes arena. Can Waffles get close enough to have a go at him? That is the question. And the question that all 9 viewers of this live stream tonight will be wondering. And further down the field, of course, Drive the Mighty Supra, says the soul of gaming. But Wimpinator, what's happening to him? He's 10 seconds off the lead at the moment, and a second behind V-Fingers. And Cartoon, a further 2 seconds behind Wimpinator, Rob. And you've got to say, he's really fallen out of action, out of the equation here tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Wimpinator I mean, that's a good position for him anyway, but just thinking about Cartoon and Trust, 5th and 6th, these two boys were up at the pointy end of the field, and gee, you wonder, like, where has the setup gone? Where has the... Because it can't be just them, they're very, very good, reliable drivers, both race and endurance type leagues, and these two are really consistent drivers, so... Do you think that maybe they've gone for like one setup that they've worked on together and it's just not worked out over a race, or maybe just in changeable conditions, track getting a little bit colder has not really played out in their favour, Trev?
Yes, it's interesting. I wonder, as the Germans say, was ist los? What has happened to Truss and Cartoon? Because the soul of gaming, they're just saying, did you know there's a real life 3000 HP Super? I reckon he might work for Toyota perhaps, but thank you for your comment. I'd like to see the soul of gaming subscribing if you haven't already to the Kidbyers channel, but it could be just a setup issue. And Matt Broom saying they've got two heads being from Tasmania, maybe that is what's slowing them down. And boy, we haven't offended too many people tonight, but the Tasmanians always a favourite here tonight. But lap 18 out of 20, we are getting to the business end of this race, and just 2/10, still nothing between Formula 1 Rocks and Waffles now as we look at Wimpinator there. He's still eyeing off a podium position, and don't count out Cartoon though. Speak of the devil further back there in P5. And thank you, Soul of Gaming, for subscribing, and Hayne as well for your company right throughout the evening and in the opening two rounds of this championship. We wouldn't mind to see you, Hayne 1994, in this championship. You're pretty handy on this game from all reports, so thanks for having your company here tonight. But look at this battle, just 2 laps to go until the end of this one, and I hate to be that man, Rob, but I wonder how long, or how that penalty actually is going to affect Waffles and indeed V-Fingers in P3 towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I mean, that could work out really interesting in the grand scheme of things, but you know what? I'm pretty sure Waffles will be pretty safe at P2 there, so I mean, even if he made the pass and went for a really big lunge at one of these big braking zones, I don't think it would change the result at all, to be honest. I mean, all Formula Rocks would have to do is just keep within a second or two of the car in front, and he'd still win the race, just to how the penalty system works in this game. But you know, Waffles, he's going to be happy with the P2 position. That's really, really good points for him. And you know what? He's put in some really good performance tonight. I mean, that car looks really pacey compared to the last 2 rounds that he's driven it.
There's no doubt about that. He's currently in P2, so he does have a penalty like we mentioned, but I don't think he'll have too many issues back to V-Fingers in P3. But the question will be, can he win this race when we're on the penultimate lap now? Lap 19 out of 20, so just a couple of laps to go until the end of this race here tonight. Don't forget, of course, next week we are at Brands Hatch before a 2-week break. But as Super Crunch says, I think Wilco has the Hawk team sitting in his car weighing him down. We don't have spell check on this, but thank you for that comment there, Super Crunch. But, well, penultimate lap of this race. Formula 1 Rocks now, who's gained a little bit there on Waffles in the early part of this lap. But Righty down the inside of Fubbles there, and he's still got that points. Oh! Well, I tell you what, those two boys off each other's Christmas cards list as they decide to collect a cone for good measure as well, Rob. Interesting.
Yeah, nothing wrong with collecting a cone. I will not judge them for that, but these two still going hell for leather. I mean, Waffles has been dropped by a couple of tenths at the last lap, but he's not giving up. He's very, very tenacious. Kind of like a small dog. Not very threatening, but a big personality, and it's kind of not what I'm trying to say here at the moment. Actually, Waffles a bit having a look on the inside. Not getting it quite done. Full on Rocks closing the door, but I think Full on Rocks just realised he's a bit exposed.
He's more exposed than Cardinal. No, I won't say that, but we've had enough of those jokes so far here tonight. But 10 people watching this live stream here tonight, and Waffles down the inside. Can he make the move? Could there? Oh, there was slight contact there, but Formula One Rocks keeps his composure now, heading into the last corner and the last lap of this race. I've got no fingernails left, Rob, so I wonder about these two. Just imagine what is going through Jono's mind at the moment as Luke Mackey says, come on, Waffles, get in there. Gets in there, Waffles. And Neil says, oh dear. But Formula One Rocks looking to sell some candy. He went down the inside on the main straight. And he's locked a wheel yet again, heading into turn 1, but just a few kilometres now between separating Formula One Rocks from another victory in this championship. And indeed, the championship lead here tonight. But Waffles will have something to say about that. He's oh so close, isn't he? Ducking and weaving there, looking to get the advantage. He's got a bit of slipstream here. Is he going to make the move down into turn 7? I wonder whether he can get the job done here on this final lap. This is absolutely incredible stuff here. Wheel-to-wheel stuff, bumper-to-bumper action here on the final lap of this race. There are other battles going on, Rob, but this is the one we're interested in now. As Formula One Rocks takes the inside line. Waffles, he squeezes him out. A bit of Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Austria 2016 about it. As Hayne 1994 says, he raced Waffles a bit and he knows how to put the pressure on. And Super Crunch saying, good stream, boys. Enjoyed every second of it. I love you, Super Crunch. Thanks for joining us here tonight. But Waffles down the inside. It's so close in the final few corners of this race, Rob.
Yeah, it's so close and it's looking really interesting, and I can't take my eyes away from it. Waffles actually lost about 2/10 just out of those two corners there itself, but I noticed that during that last lap, Waffles was actually quicker and he was making the big dive bombs on the Formula One Rock, so maybe that's Waffles' big strategy at the moment, is just go for the big dive bombs and see what happens. And you know what, I don't think Formula One Rocks really likes it. I think that might be his big, really late braking there. And Waffles sort of sabotaged his own race there. So good race from Formula One Rocks. Led from start to finish. Waffles in P2. V-Fingers coming around the last corner, long right-hander there. Almost a hairpin a lot of ways with Whippinator behind it. Coming up into 5th is Cartoon. Had a really good start to the race, and his car faded along with his teammate. Truss in the other Logitech car. Almost sort of a exact role reversal livery on the two cars there, to be honest there, Trev. But Jason Wilkinson comes home in 6th. Good race for him. Mighty Murph in 8th, and he didn't make any positions, but he didn't lose positions either. And it's good to see Mighty Murph is really enjoying these cars and having a good go of it. And Aussie Bro in P9 picking up those valuable points in that position there, and HSV coming in to round up the points winners, Trev.
HSV there finishing in P10 and collecting the final points paying position, as Julian there saying, Dab, great to have your company, Julian. And Neil Haynes 05 says, great coverage, guys. Again, guys, keep it up. Thank you, Neil, for watching and supporting this live stream here tonight. As the soul of gaming there just saying, be right back. Well, don't go away too long and make a cup of tea, because we've got the post-race interviews here tonight as we recap the race results here at the Nurburgring. It was Formula One Rocks holding off Waffles and Bits in the end, and well, he had a 1-second penalty in the end, but still a great effort from Waffles and Bits to finish in P2 here tonight. Then it was Wimpinator in P3, sneaking ahead of V-Fingers, who had a 2-second penalty there at the end of that race. Cart Dude slotting into P5 after a great start early on in the race, and Truss in P6 there ahead of Jason Wilkinson, the man who was worried about his pace leading into the race this week, still finishes in P7 tonight. Mighty Murph in P8, Aussie Bro in P9, and HSV in P10. And Jason saying, I'm sweaty as, eh? And Broomy saying, well done, Aussie. As we continue to go down the order, Fubbles then, the man bashing his pad harder than me in there in P11. Anyway, Righty in P12, John Dog in P13, V8 Man retiring in P14, and that rounds out your top finishes here tonight. And the soul of gaming there saying 1K subscribers, I'm jealous. Jason saying, hey, Super Crunch. Haynes saying, great race. Get your comments in on the live stream tonight. Great to have your company. And we're just waiting, as I think Rob may have left the session. No, you're still there, Rob?
I have not left the session. Unfortunately, you are the head of the party, so I have suggested the top 3. You have to accept it, buddy.
I certainly do. So I'm guessing, do I have to do anything at my end, Rob? Do I have to jump out and invite these boys, do I?
Yeah, so you got to press the PS button, party screen, and it should say suggested players. Click on that, and you should be able to invite these boys in.
Here we go. So we're just going to invite some players at the moment. View suggested players, and Formula 1 Rocks, Waffles, and who finished? Was it Wimpinator in P3? I think it was, wasn't it, Rob?
Yes, with Wimpinator in P3, yep.
Ahead of V-Fingers, of course, who had the penalty. Haynes saying, hey, Wilco, and Wilco saying, g'day, Big Shep. Stuff the Eagles, says Wilco. Super Crunch getting excited there as well. And top 11 within 60 seconds there, Neil. Shows a great competitive league, as we've just witnessed. And Soul of Gaming likes my commentary as we join back. We've got our top 3 starting to join the party here tonight. And first of all, if we've got Jono on the line now, do we have Jono?
Yeah, boys.
Yeah, boys. Get in there, Jono. Fantastic stuff, Jono. Another win, mate. How do you feel about the race, first of all, and the win here tonight?
Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's good run. Good race. It's good fun. Don't think I was quite as quick as the other boys, but they were on me for a long time. First I had Truss, then he pitted, and then Picard did right on my tushy for ages. And then come out of the pits and Waffles on there, on me ass, and yeah, I tell you what, couldn't make any mistakes. Nearly got past a few times, but held on just.
To run your own race there, mate. Really impressive drive, to be honest. Kept the car really straight and defended where it mattered, and you just looked like an absolute superstar, like you always do, buddy. And gee, I mean, yeah, there were certainly cars around you that were a bit quicker. It's going to be one of those seasons for you, I think.
Yeah, mate, they were definitely fast as. The first couple of rounds I wasn't there in qualifying, but I was there in the race, and then this week I was there in qualifying, but not quick enough in the race. So we'll see what's going on.
Awesome stuff, Jono. Now, I've got to say, mate, before the 2-week break, I should say, mate, you've taken the championship lead as we head to round 4 at Brands Hatch. 26 laps around there, mate. Are you feeling confident heading into Brands Hatch next week?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate. Anyone could go and win that one. It's a tough track. But I'll try and do a bit more practice than I did this week and have a crack, eh?
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. And can you just do me one more favour? Can you say Tushy again, bud?
Tushy, mate. Tushy.
Yes, fantastic stuff as the comments keep coming in. Jono, fantastic, and it's a shame about someone being on your... I think you said on your ass, but tushy ass, whatever you want to call it, mate. Fantastic stuff. You've got the win tonight, and all the best for next week at Brands Hatch, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
Awesome. Boy, just giving us more and more each week. He's sort of a bit like the Kimi Räikkönen of this league, isn't he, Rob? He just doesn't give you too much, and then he just comes out with something like tushy. But Waffles now in P2. Waffles, are you there, bro? Come in.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, so fantastic race, mate. You were all over the back of Formula 1 Rocks like a cheap bloody super. Tell us about that penalty, mate. Did it cost you victory tonight, but or was Formula 1 Rocks just a little bit too quick in the end?
First I'd like to thank Mr. Fingers for helping with the setup, otherwise I'd be nowhere on the pace. I thought I had a good strategy all lined up. I don't know if Rocks got like a really quick stop, helping him stay out in front. But yeah, I had the pace but nowhere to pass. It's really hard to pass. I was sending it, trying, but in the end, I reckon if I got ahead of him I probably could have pulled the second, but guess we'll never know.
Well, I mean, buddy, you looked actually mega quicker. It's actually been a nice little turnaround from the last 2 weeks from the league, where you just sort of, you were thereabouts, but nowhere where I expect you to be personally, to be honest, buddy. But you know what? You look really, really quick, and you really put the pressure on Formula 1 Rocks there. So I mean, maybe you got to be Postman Pat from now on and just send it.
Well, I tried sending it, but if I was close to getting my nose clipped off a few times. So I just got to get the braking a bit better, because at the moment, if I send it too hard, I'll end up locking into him and causing an issue. But that's one thing I got to work on, just confidence on the braking.
And you mentioned Waffles about confidence, but just looking at last year, you got a couple of third places there early on last season. Of course, that famous win in Belgium, mate. But P2 tonight, what are you looking to achieve in the last bit of this season and looking ahead in the next few rounds?
Probably just more of the same. Podiums are great. Top 5 is the aim, somewhere around there. Try to stay ahead of the midfield. You know, like classic Renault, want to be best of the rest.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Waffles, P2 tonight, mate. You missed out on the win, but still a fantastic drive. Either way you look at it, mate. And thanks for joining us post-race. And we'll see you next week for round 4 at Brands Hatch.
No worries. See you.
All right, Waffles and Bits there joining us post-race here on the live stream. As those comments, boy, they're going absolutely bananas. Wilco there and Super Crunch just going toe-to-toe in the comments section there. Super Crunch saying congrats to the top boys as we join Wimpinator. Have we got Wimpinator on the line there who's joined the party chat here tonight? Wimpinator, P3 here tonight, 12 seconds off the leading duo, but still not a bad result, Wimp. You've got onto the podium.
Yeah, I'll definitely take it after qualifying. It was a disaster. I think, the problem was I did too much race practice before the actual race, so I didn't have my eye in for the quali, but really happy with the third. I mean, I had to pit lap 1, obviously, to get ahead of everybody else. Otherwise, I just can't get past on this track. Like, it's really hard in general just to overtake. So, yeah. And, third place. It's great. I'm happy with that. Take that.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. And actually, it's kind of scary to listen to Wimpinator, Trev, because he kind of sounds like a more upbeat Wilco. But, Wimp, you know, you've had a pretty good start to the season, only the third race in. You've been pretty consistent with your car speed and your finishing positions. Do you reckon you could probably go for a total tilt this year?
We'll see. I mean, I still need to work on those pit stops. I always get longer pit stops, and I seem to, compared to the other guys, have longer pit stops. So if I can figure that out, then I'd say, at least I'll get a few wins. That'd be nice. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week anyway. Not looking too far ahead.
Well, Wimpinator just giving the politically correct answer there, Rob. Just 1 week at a time. Giving the footy coach answer there, you might say. But Wimpinator, it's fantastic, mate, to talk with you. P3 tonight, and it was a masterstroke with that early pit stop. A genius bit of race strategy, mate, and boy, it creeps me out that you sound a lot like Jason Wilkinson, but like you said, Rob, a lot more upbeat version of our man, Wilco. But congratulations tonight, Wimpinator, for P3. You're on the podium, mate, and hoping to get more of the same next week.
Yeah, cheers, boys. See ya.
See you, Wimpinator. Thank you for joining us there, Wimpinator. Boy, doesn't he sound like our man. He does sound a lot like Wilco. That is quite scary, actually. Imagine those two in a party by themselves. I couldn't tell the difference, Rob. But, 20 laps of the Nurburgring, and it's been Formula 1 Rocks who has just conquered the green hell here tonight. And we're getting a message through from Wilco there, Rob, who says, hold up, Brody is doing the updated championship points. But I can tell you, my arithmetic, which is always suspect, Rob, it is Formula 1 Rocks leading the championship all out on his own yet again as we head into next week.
Yeah, I mean, Fallen Rocks has put in some really good performances, and you know what? People could say what they want to say about him, but you know what? He's just put in the right results, and you can't get better than that. He's just put in the results when they mattered. You know, he had a really rough start to the season at the Nurburgring, and you know, probably not where he really wanted to be in the qualifying session. Really capitalising in the race to take the win. To be honest, and he came right through the field to do that. Losing it at the last race at Brno. and really taking it out here. So, you know what, Full On Rocks is always going to be the biggest threat in this league, and he's really showing it tonight, and he's showcasing what he can do in different cars, and it's probably making a few people nervous. But Waffles and Bits, really good car speed tonight. Got a little bit of help with setup from V-Fingers and Wimpinator. Very, very consistent as always, and it's just a shame to see V-Fingers, Cart Dude, and Truss not really in the I mean, very good points paying positions, but not where we expect to be. Cart Dude, of course, taking out the win last week at Burno, and yeah, it's just a very interesting way for this season to go. And gee, I mean, we still only got I think 10 more races left, and the season's not even really started yet, Trev.
3 rounds down. Round 4 next week. 12 in total before we finish at Bathurst next week. Big shout out to Cart Dude. As Hayne says, I might join next season, season number 5. We'd love to have you, Hayne. 1994, of course. Pretty handy around on this game, of course. But Formula 1 rocks. The championship standings have been updated and sent through by our favourite Tasmanian Cart Dude, and it's Formula 1 rocks on 65 points ahead of Cart Dude. Believe it or not, on 50 points, 15 points ahead of him in second there. Wimpinator in P3, 44 points for Wimpinator, 43 for V-Fingers. And as I just make sure I get the right picture here, rather than that disturbing version of the Vatican edition of The Bachelor, which you sent through earlier on this evening, Rob. We'll try. I've clicked on the wrong picture, but never mind about that, because the Constructors' Championship. Boy, I hope I don't show people that one at home. V-Fingers and Wimpinator. Warney bowling around the wicket there. Bold shine. 87 points in P1. Then it's Cart Dude and Trust for Sody Motorsports, rather, in P2. And Shake and Bake in P3. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Very close at the top of the championship. But in the Drivers' Championship, that all-important Drivers' Championship that everybody loves. It's not up on the screen. No, that's not. We haven't got a chance to save it and change the browser source in OBS broadcasting software. But anyway, never mind about that. It's Formula 1 rocks, 15 points ahead of Cart Dude. But Rob, Cart Dude shall return next week.
Yeah, but Cart Dude has a knack to of returning from really some really interesting positions. If you cast your minds back to last season with the GTEs, he managed to go from last to I think it was third at the Algarve circuit in Portugal, and I mean, you know what, that boy's put in some really stellar drives, and he's a terrifying driver to come against. Racing against myself, he's one of the few that I do really fear, and full on rocks and Waffles and Bits as well. Very good endurance driver, Waffles and Bits. Very few drivers that I really fear on the circuit, so you know what, never discount Cart Dude.
Never discount everybody's favourite Tasmanian. They say he's got 2 heads, but he still is mighty quick in these Renault Megans. Well, we're just about out of time here tonight. Like I've said throughout the course of the stream and the evening tonight, it's been great to have your company with us. Big thanks to a couple of people who subscribed to the channel, and everybody for getting their comments in and supporting the live stream as well. If you want to get involved in this championship, head to SupremeRacingLeague.com. Head over to the Project Cars 2 Asia Pacific League forum for more details on the rest of this championship. And Wilco says, signed off by Bernie. You know, another good race, you know. I thought I'd never do that again. But anyway, Super Crunch says, thanks again. Good to catch up with you, Jace. Talk soon. And thank you to everybody tonight. Don't forget, next week, the championship rolls on to Brands Hatch in the UK. 26 laps of the Brands Hatch circuit. That is round 4 of this championship. We're almost out of time. Be kind to one another. And I'll see you next week. It's bye for now. Here we go. Racing here. And they are bumper to bumper, second, third.
Sub-GT's holding them off of them.
Is he going to go around the outside? See, him engulfed by the top two guys. And look at that 3, 1, 2, 3 car. Oh, he's around.
This is around. This is absolutely. It's a parking lot.
Oh no. And there's contact.
Oh, Carter's going